honey. Welcome back. I just wanted to do my makeup. So that's what we're gonna do. I just feel like I was in this blast from the past mode because of my weekend, which I'll tell you about. So I just finished reading, or kind of skimming through, 2 of my old journals. Y'all. If you didn't know, I'm apparently hilarious. Let me go ahead and get started. So I'm going to use this Prelusion eyeshadow base from, excuse me, Divina Cosmetics. Oh my God, you just see the development over the years. And I just loved seeing myself like turn into this badass, you know? Oh, but also like reading all the drama. I'm like, dude, I went through a lot. Anyway, I had been looking to see if I had written something about this tragic event that happened in grad school. Well, not tragic, but more like traumatic for me. And apparently, I don't think I wrote about it, but I can see where it happened because I started using some different names for 2 folks, some insulting names. And something that like a few people know about me is that I tend to give people nicknames. Like I'll put the nickname in my phone. It's especially if it's someone I'm dating or it's someone I don't like. So just reading the names that I was giving to people, I cannot. But it also, like, there's a history of a lot of stuff in there that makes a lot of sense. You know, when you like look back and you're like, that's when that neuroses started. So I'm going to use the Natasha Denona Gold Palette. I feel like I haven't used it much, and I'm on a new like tracking of the palettes I used this year. So that's gonna help me determine at like the end of the year if I'm getting rid of anything. So one of the shades I really like in here is this shade. It's like a multi-chrome. The name of the shade is Lime Chrome. So I'm going to use that. So the reason I got into this like nostalgic moment is that this past weekend, I went to my grad school advisor's retirement party. Now, she like talked about having the retirement party sometime last year. She sent out the invite and I was like, I don't know if I can come because, you know, I've got all these things to pay for. I'm like, the dollar's not dollaring right now. And so I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go. But then she was like, oh, I totally understand, you know, you have to take care of yourself, all these other things. I really understand, but I really wish you could come. I'm gonna miss you. Child, she said that about 3-4 times. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna somehow make it work. And I'm really glad that I did. So she sent this list of like everyone who's coming and where they're coming from and everything. And most of the people on the list were all from University of Florida, where she is retiring from. So I knew her from University of Mizzou. So most of the people were from Florida and the event was in Florida. But there were 3 of us from Mizzou. So we're like her early in her career advisees. But then the other 2 Mizzou people couldn't come. So I was the one repping Missouri, right? And the crazy thing is, at that point, when the 3 of us were her advisees, she was doing just a totally different like research line. Like she was doing body image and eating disorders, which is kind of where I started my work and stuff. But now she like a sex therapist, girl. She's written books and everything. So it's like those of us earlier in the more senior advisees, we just knew like a different, she was just different. She was a different person. And then the Florida people like had her towards the latter part of her career, right? So, child, you know what that means? Since I'm one of the senior folk, I was also one of the senior folk in terms of age. So, what happened? Let me start from the beginning. So, I got my ticket, got my hotel, everything, and then she sent out this list of where everybody was coming from, when they're coming in, and all that stuff. And it was in Florida, and I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, why is everybody flying into Jacksonville? I hadn't bought my ticket yet, but I had been looking at from Baltimore or Washington, D.C. or Dulles or whatever to Tampa. Until I saw that everybody was flying into Jacksonville. And then I was like, where is this event? Jacksonville. So I got my ticket into Jacksonville. Somehow or another, I think because I was looking for a direct flight, I chose the furthest airport. So if you're from the area, I chose Dulles. Dulles is about a good hour away, okay? So I choose that airport, and I'm like, should I drive or should I Uber? Uber's gonna be hella expensive. But the last time I flew in and out of Dulles, like when I was driving back, once I landed back in the area, I was so tired. Like I thought I was gonna have to pull over and sleep. So I was like, let me just go ahead and do an Uber. So before, Lord, I just saw something in photo. Before I reserved the Uber the night before. Or actually, it was like the morning. It was like 1 in the morning, which was further reason why I shouldn't have been driving, right? So I reserved the Uber, and I see that he's coming, and all of a sudden, I cannot find my business debit card, my business credit card. Because we were going to do some like consultation stuff while we were there, right? I'm running around this house. I'm looking under everything. I'm looking in purses and bags and looking under the bed, like all over. And then I was like, you know what? It could be in one other place. And that's where it was. It was in the wallet. So, so already, like, I'm sweaty. I'm feeling gross. And I'm like, and now I have to get on this plane. And I already always get hot really easily. And I had been fine before. I had been fine right before until I was running around the house looking for this thing. So I get into the Uber. I'm sweating. I'm hot. And I noticed that the Uber driver, his seat is like all the way back, like practically on the back seat. So, you know, I'm looking up his little stats. Do you do that when you get in an Uber? You look up like the comments and stuff. And he says that he's 6'7", like 6 feet 7 inches. This man is tall, but you know what he didn't, his tall butt didn't do? His tall butt did not get out of the car and help me with my bag. Anyway, so you know how you can put like preferences of temperature and talking, and I was just like, I don't care, whatever. This man was on his phone the whole time telling somebody how to play basketball. I don't know. I mean, stereotypes would say that he played or plays basketball, right? Let's add some more shim. What do I want to do? Maybe this one here. That is brass. So he's talking the whole time, and then he's like talking to me at some points, but I don't know, like, cause I'm like, oh, are you talking to me? Or are you on the phone? What's happening? So I get to the airport. Everything's pretty smooth. Yeah, this doesn't really change anything too much. Everything goes pretty smoothly. And then I make it to Jacksonville, to the right place. Everything is smooth there. Now, we had this group chat, right? Because people were also putting, like, when they're getting in, if anything was changing, because some bad weather was supposed to come. You're probably experiencing it right now, too. So, get to the hotel, and there were supposed to be some, what do they call it? Some gift bags for us at the front desk. But I guess I got there, I think I was actually overall the second one to get there. And then my advisor was like, that like whoever was there at the hotel, they were gonna get ready to go to like dinner. And I was like, you know what, like I just got off the plane. I like to shower and stuff immediately once I get off the plane because I just feel gross. And I was like, you know, I'm just gonna shower and I'm just gonna like order some room service and just chill out because I'm tired. But then my advisor was like, are you sure, like we're gonna go to dinner? And she was going with 3 of the University of Florida students. So I was like, no, I'm good, I'm not gonna go. And she was like, are you sure? So I'm like, okay, girl. Because I really did want to spend time with her. I haven't seen her in a lot of years. So I shower and I was like, also, all I brought was an outfit for the dinner tomorrow night and like 3 options of outfit for the dinner tomorrow night, all dressy. And I was like, I'm gonna be in my yoga clothes. So we go get to the place. Now, the 3 other people know each other because they're all from the same school. I'm the only one that's like from a totally different school and from a totally different age bracket. Sorry, I got off topic. I kind of want to do like a blue eyeliner. This shade is called Python. Let's try that out. So, you know, they're talking, they're having a good old time. I'm not in on the what are those, what are they called, jokes that you, like only a couple of you are aware of? What is that called? Not inner jokes. Tag on it. Inside jokes. See, I'm in a different age bracket from these people. But, you know, I'm charming, okay? So I start to engage and talk and everything, but I'm just tired, right? You know, and 2 of the women had already been at the restaurant. It was a really good restaurant. They had already been at the restaurant, and they were already, you know, like 3 drinks in. So, but again, I'm tired. I have been on a plane for a little while, coming, you know, including the Uber ride and all that good stuff. And we're talking, we're laughing, we're having a good time. And, you know, I have these like balloons on my chest. And so, of course, I'm getting food just all on it. And I have on like this light pink like yoga shirt. So it's just like a bunch of staining right there. So that was kind of not embarrassing. It was just annoying. Like, can I just eat this taco without half of it being on my boobs? So anyway, we finally finish, get back to the hotel, and, you know, finally I'm able to relax for real. And the room was nice. It actually, we were like right on the beach. So it really made me feel like I was back home in California, but California is better than Florida because Florida has a lot of humidity. But anyways, so it really felt nice. You know, I was able to open the door, let some of the fresh beach air in and all that jazz. So it was cool. So I slept well. The hotel, they were doing a bit much with this like nautical beach theme because everything was like beach related. So, you know, you didn't get a card, you got like a little wristband, like, you know, like a wristband that you get when you go to like the beach or something. And then the handles on the water, the sink in the bathroom were like fins, like fish tails. I was like, y'all doing the most. But anyway, I slept well. And then the next morning I was like, okay, I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna get me a chai latte, and I'm gonna get a bagel and go back upstairs and rest and relax, right? So what happened? I go downstairs, I'm about to order. Guess who's over there? My advisor. She's like, hey. And I was like, she was like, you're probably just gonna get your stuff and go upstairs, huh? And I'm like, yeah. But of course, then I sat down with her. So I'm gonna use this Danessa Myricks Beauty Oil as a primer for my face. I've been wanting something a bit more hydrating than the other primers I have. And I just find like I've been using this for maybe a few days, so I'm gonna see how I like it. But if you do have suggestions of like a more hydrating primer, please let me know, because I typically use the Urban Decay All Nighter Primer, or I'll also use the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin, excuse me, the Universal. But this can be, it can be a bit matte, right? So I'm trying to, since it's cold weather, you know, change it up. Now, I can't remember if I said, but I did get the Tom Ford Traceless Foundation Stick, as well as the foundation, the liquid foundation. Now, what I noticed is that the liquid foundation, it's a lot thinner than I expected in terms of consistency. So it's okay, but I definitely would say that I like the stick better. The stick gives more coverage. So I have both of them in the shade 11 Dusk. So what I've also realized with the liquid is I found that it's better to apply it with like your fingers, which is not something I ever really do. But when I've used a brush, it really just soaks everything up and you get like no coverage. And then, yeah, so maybe I'll use both so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I sit down with my advisor and we talk for quite a long time, and then some of the other ladies come down, and I'm gonna start with the stick. Am I gonna start with the stick? Yes. Okay, yeah. Some of the other ladies come down, and we're just all talking and stuff, and then I'm like I need to go up and shower and, you know, rest. Like, I shower a lot because I just like being, you know, so fresh and so clean. And then they're like, oh, okay, we'll meet back down here in like an hour for lunch. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to lunch, okay? Like, I just had dinner a couple hours ago, and now I just had this bagel and this chai latte, and then we supposed to go to dinner later. Like, I can't hang. I was like, I can't hang with y'all whippersnappers. That's literally what I said, because I'm like, they're gonna go and drink some more, and I'm like, listen, I don't have that kind of like metabolism. I can't be drinking like this. Ain't nobody got time. So they go to lunch and I go to bed. I felt like such an old lady at that thing, because I was like, I'm tired. Like, I was like, I can't do this. And you know, it was like I was enjoying my time, but it was just like totally different. We had just come from totally different experiences. Like, I am much further along in my career than they are. You know, for some of them, I've been practicing longer than, you know, before they've even gotten to or out of grad school. And they all know each other and know the inside jokes and know all the faculty and stuff that they're talking about. And I just don't. I'm like, I don't know who these people is that y'all talking about. And I also had like some traumatic experiences in grad school. So I'm going to go in with the liquid. Do you see how like that is so... It's such a thin, runny formula. It's really thin and runny. And I think this is great if you like want to spend a lot of money and have a little bit of coverage. But it's not worth the price tag, okay? Like, this was on sale, and on sale it was like $40-something. So not on sale, it's like a good $90. And none of us are that crazy. So, I mean, it gives a nice, like, soft matte finish, but it just doesn't give a lot of coverage. And I don't think it'll work well if you are trying to use a brush or a sponge. I think you can pat it in with a sponge once you have kind of like blended it, but I would say both give a bit of a lighter coverage, but I think you can build up the coverage with the foundation stick more so than you can with the liquid. So if you want a lighter coverage, find something else that's more affordable. Don't get this, okay? Don't get it. You're gonna feel foolish. Yeah, don't get it. I mean, maybe if you want to, but I don't think it's worth the price tag. time for it. So, you know, I went to sleep, and initially I was telling my family, and I was telling Erica and Jam Van, I was like, y'all, I feel so old. I'm like the party pooper. I'm up here in my room, laid out on this bed with my bonnet on and my sleep mask. And I'm just like, I just feel so old, like, in comparison. And it's just like a different, like, you're just at a different place, right? So everybody was like, it's okay, don't worry about it. You're not the old one. Like, just rest and relax. Because also, like, I had worked all week, you know, so I worked and then I hopped on a plane and now I'm there, and then I'm gonna hop real fast back on a plane, you know. So I just sat with that and I was like, it's fine. And then everybody was messaging in the group at chat, and I think some folks were like, yeah, we're just down at the bar. I'm like, listen, okay. I just need some water. I Postmated Uber Eats or whatever some water from Walgreens, because I was like, I'm good. I don't need any more alcoholic beverage, okay? I'm fine. I'm gonna use the Fenty concealer. I actually want to try the new one, the hydrating one. I might just order that. I like this one, the original, but it's definitely very drying. Also, I think it's almost done. So then, you know, at some point, hold on. That's my girl, Nikki. Oh, wait, they didn't give it to her. Lord, you. So, what was I saying? So, you know, I was like, I'm going to wake up with enough time just to relax, do my hair, do my makeup. It had gotten a little chillier, which was good because I was going to wear these, like, you know, like knee-length velvet boots or whatever. And I was like, well, I'm going to get ready to the group. And if anybody's still downstairs, then I'll come down and hang out a bit. Or I'll just see y'all for dinner. We were going to meet. We were gonna meet for, I think at like 6:15, 6:20. Child, so I just took my time and I got ready. I did like film it on my phone. I don't know how great it is, but I can always like try to put it together and upload it if you want. But it was essentially me just getting ready on a at a hotel desk in my room. So I looked fabulous for dinner, and then we went, and it was really nice. We had like this private room. My advisor was so happy. It was just really nice. So we're eating, we're laughing, you know, I'm engaging with folks. Again, it's still just a little different because I'm just at a different place in my life. And then it's time for the speeches, right? So people could decide if they wanted to give a speech. And everybody was like, I want to give a speech, you know? So we start, and there are a few people who didn't come. So they had emailed what they wanted to say to like other people. Now, one of the Mizzou folks, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, she was supposed to text or email what she wanted to say to me, and I would read it out. She didn't send it, but that's fine because I don't like her. But I was going to be nice and go ahead and read it out for her. So if any of y'all watch, it's not the one whose name starts with a C. It's the one whose name starts with an A. So she didn't send it, but some people from the other school had sent to their friends, and so they read them out. So we were trying to figure out who would go first, who would go last. And I was like, well, why don't we start with like the most junior person and then go to the most senior, which would be me. So I would just wrap it all up, right? So some people had like speeches that they had like typed out, written out, and it's like all nice and mushy, and I hadn't typed anything out. I was like, I'm gonna just go off the cuff, and I definitely had more like funny stories than mushy ones. So I was like, oh snap, this I thought this was a little different. thought it was a roast, but it's a toast. So literally everyone pretty much cries during their speech. And I'm like, I'm a G. I'm not gonna cry. Ew. Child, when I tell you, bawling. I was just, but you know what? Also, like, it just was different, you know? Like, these women are like, oh, you've been such a big part of my life for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And I was like, so I met our advisor 20 years ago. Like, it's just like, it was so different. You know, I felt like the big sister of the group, which is fine. So people had questions about private practice and, you know, running a business and all that stuff. And I felt, I'm so happy to go ahead and help anybody, especially if we're trained by the same person. But it was very different. I did feel like the old lady. Even my advisor was out having a good old time. But, you know, she's retiring. Some of us got to go to work in the morning. So, it was good. And I was really owning that. I think I play a really good extrovert, but I'm really an introvert. And I think I was really just trying to own that and be like, it's okay that I don't want to do all of these things. And, like, you know, I need time by myself to re-energize, which is pretty much what an introvert is. Like, you need to, like, refuel your battery by, like, being alone, while extroverts, they get all of this energy from being around people. And I'm like, if y'all don't leave me alone. And of course, since it's a bunch of psychologists, everyone's like, take care of you. So it was perfect, right? So we go to the dinner and everything. It was nice. Like, there are some good pictures. We made our advisor, like, cry, and it was just really good for her. So then the next morning, I'm like, I'm gonna go get coffee and I'm gonna get a bagel. Everybody's downstairs. So I sit with everyone and, you know, just chatting, because everyone's now gotten a bit closer. And then it's time to go. So I check out. And I get my Uber. I had already reserved it the night before. And so everything is fine. And me and the Uber driver, we're like chatting and stuff. And then he got a text and he just shut his mouth. I don't know what happened. I don't know what his wife texted him. But I get to the airport. And first of all, I try to check in at the valet station. So I was like, oh, can I check in for my flight? And he was like, no, this is valet. And I was like, oh, okay, so I can't check in here. So then I go inside, y'all. And at some point at the event, I did my nails. Okay. Wait until you see the design of the nails I have for my dad's birthday. Stunning. So I go inside and I go to, like, get my bag tag and all that stuff. And so the lady was like, oh, if you've prepaid for your bag, you can come over here. So I had prepaid from the bag. So I go up to the thing. And she's like, just scan your boarding pass. Now, you know, everything is, like, electronic now, right? So if you've traveled within the last few years, you can just, like, scan your boarding pass and all your stuff will come out. So you can also do, like, your, schools are gonna open late. You could also do, like, a credit card or your ID. So I'm trying to scan this thing and I can never get it right. No matter where I am, how I am, who I am, I can never get it right. So I'm trying to scan this thing. It's not working. And homegirl is just looking at me like she ain't even trying to help me or nothing. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna use my my ID. So I take my ID out and I put it in the slot. Here's the thing though, my nails were too long to get it out the slot. And usually I have this, like, card grabber, but I didn't have it with me. I didn't have it with me because I didn't have my car keys. So, because I had left my car, because I was like, if something happens, then if I need to get into my car for any reason. Yeah, just anyway. So I'm trying to grab the thing out and the lady's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm trying to get my card out the thing. But I can't. I was like, I can't grab it. So she goes ahead and she grabs my card. seems super happy to help me. And then she just like takes my phone and she does it. She gets it to work. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so tragic. And she kind of smiled at that. So then got all that done, right? And then I go to security. And first of all, you know, you have to give your ID. So I'm like, cool, I already had my ID out. So I grab a card out of my wallet. It's a credit card. And I'm like, and there are two TSA folks and they're like, that's a credit card. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So I'm putting that back in my little pouchy bag thing and trying to find the ID. I find the ID. Everything from my pouch starts to fall out of the bag. Everything. Okay? My lip gloss is running. My little pill pack is running over there. The wallet, like, it's just, everything keeps coming. And I'm fumbling. I'm trying to give stuff. And then now they take your picture at the thing. And I don't understand that because you never look good. And so then the TSA person is like picking up my stuff. I'm trying to pick up my stuff and they're like, your bag's open. I'm like, I know my bag is open. So finally I get all of that together and I don't really have time to put it back in my bag. So I just grab a bin and I just throw everything in the bin, right? And then the lady is like, oh, are you comfortable taking off your sweatshirt? And I'm like, sure. So I'm trying to take the sweatshirt off. I'm getting stuck in the sweatshirt. I'm just like, I don't understand what's happening. I don't know. So, finally, I just dump everything in the bin along with my sweatshirt. And I'm about to... you know, you have to go through the thing, but usually they tell you to, okay, come forward, but they didn't. So I was just standing there and then the guy was like, you can come forward. Do you like not want to do it? And I was like, no, I just didn't, you didn't tell me to walk through. And so then of course they always have to pat me down a little extra. I don't know why. So she had to like pat my hair and stuff and you know, So then I am trying to grab my stuff from the bin, but again, everything is just out of the bag in the bin. So I'm trying to grab things and put it back in the bag. And then here come another TSA agent and he's like trying to help me because the thing is like rolling, like my hand is about to get crushed. So finally I get to sit down and then I make it to my, what's it called? I make it to my gate and, you know, I chill out for a little bit. I'm hot and sweaty again. And everything is fine. I'm like, can you sleep on a plane? Because I am knocked out by the time my butt hits the seat. Like, I have to make sure I get that seatbelt on. Because I'm just like, I know a lot of people can't, but honey, once I sit down and once I make sure, like, wherever I am in the row of seats, as long as everybody else has gotten their seat, like, now I can go to sleep. So when I tell you I was knocked out, like I heard myself snoring, I felt my head bobbing, I dropped stuff, I don't know what was happening, butterfingers the whole time. So we land and everything is fine. I used air tags for the first time, y'all. Do you have those? Have you tried those? So then I go and I did not know how cold it was going to be when I got back. It was like 27 degrees. Now, mind you, I had just come from Florida. And Florida had been a little cooler. But cool for Florida is like 50 degrees. So thank all the heavens that I had on a sweatshirt. And I called an Uber. And I'm so cold. I'm like bouncing around, you know, like trying to stay warm. And the Uber is like 8 minutes away. So I see it coming, and then when it's like 4 minutes away, it cancels. The Uber done cancel. And so I had to get another, or they had to look for another driver or whatever, right? And that was going to take another 8 minutes. So essentially, I'm standing out in the 20-degree weather for almost 20 minutes. I'm freezing. So then my driver finally gets there. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, the last one canceled. And he's like, oh yeah, because no one really wants to drive that far. Because the airport is in Virginia and I live in Maryland. I'm like, y'all acting like you don't do this drive every single day. Come on now. If you're in the area, you know that you drive through DC, Virginia, and Maryland all the time. They're all connected, the DMV. So it was weird because Home Dude was like, oh, how much did you have to pay for this ride? So I told him, and he was like, you know, we don't really get paid much. And I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna give you a tip. It was just a weird exchange. Like, should I wait for another car? Like, I was just like, I'm sorry. I know y'all don't. Like, was he trying to tell me, like, make sure you give me my money since I'm driving you like 45 minutes? I don't know. I'm sorry. But then after a while, we were just chatting it up, and I think after that, he was pretty chill with me. Older dude. He was nice. And I did give him a really good tip because he's also the only Uber driver. No, there was one other one that actually helped me with my bags. And I mean, I'm not expecting you to like lift me and my bags into the car, but could you like open the trunk or something? So he did, and this other driver had also. So I gave good tips. I was like, y'all, don't worry, like, I'm gonna tip you. It's okay. And then I got home and I got to see my girl Roseanne. I actually missed her. I was like, Roseanne, I miss you. And she's been all over me since. After she cussed me out for leaving, you know, expected. But yeah, I did miss my little Rosie Posey. And now, here I am. And it's like snowing and it's freezing cold. It's like 20-something degrees. And I will be on another trip in like 3 weeks. And I think that's it for a while. Let me finish everything up because you're probably so over me babbling. And I'll be right back. Here's the finished look. Just playing around with the Gold Palette from Natasha Denona. Let me know if you still have this palette. I think some people do, but I also think some people are over it. Anyway, I hope that some of this was helpful. I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. I really appreciate you listening to me babble on. You should really check out your old journals if you still have them, your old journals or diaries, and let me know how that journey is. Anyway, I would love it if you like the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.